After 52 years in the UK, Anthony Bryan was shocked to be told he was in the country illegally and faced forced removal. Earlier this month he was sent to an immigration detention center and booked by Home Office staff on a flight back to Jamaica, a country he left when he was 8 and has not visited since. The case is the latest in an emerging scandal over the Home Office's brutal treatment of a number of long-settled, retirement-age UK residents who are being aggressively pursued over their immigration status. Bryan's MP, Kate Osamot, said these cases were just the tip of the iceberg and described the situation as barbaric. The first and last time Bryan, 60, flew on a plane was in September 1965 when he left Jamaica to join his mother who was working as a seamstress in London. He has lived continuously here since then, attending London primary and secondary schools, working and paying taxes as a painter and decorator, helping to bring up his children and 7 grandchildren. A last-minute intervention by an immigration lawyer meant his seat on the BA flight to Kingston last Wednesday was cancelled, and Bryan was released from detention on Monday, but his status in the UK remains precarious. He has to report again to the Home Office on Tuesday and is worried that he could be rearrested. Bryan's position is very similar to that of Paulette Wilson, who was detained and dispatched to an immigration removal centre at Heathrow in late October. Wilson, 61, had been in Britain for 50 years, and had not been back to Jamaica since she left at the age of 10. Forced removal from the country was prevented by her MP, but the Home Office has said she remains liable to detention or removal until her status is regularised. Following publicity around her case, more instances have emerged of other long-term residents who have lived here for more than 50 years and who have faced deportation threats. Most were unaware that their papers were not in order. Since being elected in 2015, Osamot, Labour MP for Edmonton, has encountered at least 10 similar cases of older people being sent to detention after decades in Britain. People are left wondering, how can someone who has done so much for the community be treated like a piece of rubbish? It is barbaric. Why send people to detention when they have done nothing wrong? Bryan has a legal right to stay in the UK because the 1971 Immigration Act gave people who had already settled in Britain indefinite leave to remain, but he has struggled to gather enough documents to convince the Home Office that he arrived in the 1960s. Shoreditch Secondary School has become an academy, and destroyed its records. Orthwold Primary School only keeps records for 20 years. Last week the office manager found his name in the archives, and wrote confirming that he started school there in November 1965. A photocopy of the handwritten admissions register was sent to the Home Office earlier this week. Bryan remembers being excited at arriving in London. His mother had left him with his grandmother in Jamaica for 3 years while she saved up enough money to pay for him to join her. London had so many lights, I remember I thought all the houses were factories because they had chimneys on the top, smoke coming out like mad, he said.